Ok.
Bravo, sai che non me lo ricordo. Per esempio, io non ci posso. Crema.
I'm Wendy Holloway, and you're listening to the Flavor of Italy podcast, sharing the very best of Italian food and wine, lifestyle, and people. This is Wendy Holloway with the Flavor of Italy podcast, and now I'm down here along the coast in Sperlonga with Irene Chinappi. So that, for you English language speakers, is Irene. And we met 4 years ago when, I don't remember exactly how we connected, but I was with some family members, and we did a wonderful buffalo mozzarella tour with Irene. And since then, COVID happened and lots of different things happened, but she's really expanded everything she does, and she has a beautiful website. Everything is super interesting. I've been coming here for many decades. I have a 35-year-old daughter, and she was sitting on the sand as an infant who couldn't walk, eating sand. So I've been coming here a long, long time. But if you're interested in Sperlonga, she's really the one you have to connect with. And her company name is Amicle Experiences. And I'm just going to let her explain what that means. So Amicle is Mayclae. And there's a whole history behind that name. But first of all, welcome, Irene, and thank you for taking the time to tell us all about your great company.
Thank you, Wendy, and it's so nice to meet you again after 4 years. Yes, I'm from Sperlonga, this beautiful little village, South Rome, and I just in love with my hometown, and I just decided to make researches, and this is when I found out a wonderful legend about the origin of Sperlonga, and this is about a legend about a myth about Greek people coming here and founding a town. They call this town Amicles. And of course, this could have happened because it's a legend, 3,000 years ago, when people started to travel in the Mediterranean seas. And they were maybe running away for some political reason. We don't know why. But of course, it's not like today when we travel, we know exactly that we don't worry about food. I mean, when you travel, you know that you will find a pizzeria or a restaurant where you go. But this was not the time.
And it's also very fast to get from one place to the next with roads now, whereas back then, not at all.
Exactly. So they had to bring some seeds from their hometown. So that's when they brought the seeds from Greece and they started making growing seeds here, especially the vine tree seeds and the olive tree seeds. And that's actually the beginning of the olive oil making and the wine making here. But the legend behind this story, behind this town, is that we never found any ruins about this town. So how can we know? How can we tell this story? It's thanks to some Roman writers like Plinius the Elder, some like Virgil as well. They wrote about this town, and they said something strange. This town suddenly disappeared, and it was cancelled by the snakes. So this was a mystery for me, a real mystery. So I wanted to know more and to solve this mystery.
So what does that mean, canceled by the snakes? What does that mean?
Well, actually, it just some historians, they just told that maybe the snakes were just some other people who wanted to settle down here and just destroyed the town and maybe killed the people who were living there. But still, some of the Greek people could survive, and they ran away up on the hill that we have here behind, and they kept making wine. And this wine is still there. Actually, there's a winery that has search for local grapevine varieties, and they started making wine with those varieties. Actually, they found out that those two varieties, one, believe me, is called Serpe. Serpe means snake.
Oh, so there's actually a grape varietal that's called Serpe,
Yes.
but it's not a native grape varietal. It comes from Greece, like so many vines really do.
Well, actually, this is what we can guess, but we don't have any proof about that. But we know that for generations and for centuries, people here have been making wine with this grape variety, with the Serpe.
So is it a red wine varietal? Tell me about tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a red grape, and it's a little bit harsh, so it's hard to work with it. Actually, they have been making this wine for the house wine normally for centuries, but it was very well known in the Roman age, especially during Tiberius' age, when he had his beautiful villa in Sperlonga. He used to make wine. We know that the Cecubo wine was one of the most popular wines in the Roman age, and they adored the Cecubo wine. Cecubo means the wine that Mr. Cecco drinks. Who's Mr. Cecco?
Yes, who is he?
Mr. Cecco was the nickname, Cecco means blind, of Appio Claudio. He is the man, the politician, who made the project of the Appian Way. And when he came here in this area to check the works of the Appian Way, he had to spend a great time with the locals, because I really believe that wines taste better when you are in good company. So when he came back to Rome, he talked to all his friends about this wine. He maybe brought some of this wine to his friends, and they started telling about the wine that Mr. Cecco drinks. And in Latin, it was something like Cecco bibem or Cecum bibendum. That became the name of the wine, Cecubum. So we don't know with which variety this wine was made, but we can suppose that he was made with the local varieties, ancient varieties that they found here recently. And among those, there's the Serpe variety.
Now, I know you do a winery tour. Is that where you take your clients to that winery? And
yes, mainly this is the main tour that I do with my guests. Yeah.
And what exactly would that tour consist of? So tell me about that whole experience.
Well, I love telling the story of my hometown to my guests, because that's the story of the beginning of winemaking as well, and olive oil making. So we learn about all the story of this wine and of the village. Then we go visit the winery. We go for a walk in the vineyards. Then we visit the wine cellar, and we learn the story of the winery as well, which is actually young. They started making wine 30 years ago, but it's the story of the wine is very old. And then we have a great tasting with 3 wines and local food.
Now, where exactly do you go for that? Is it right here in Sperlonga or up in the hills? Because just to give everyone an idea of, we're sitting in this gorgeous hotel, the Hotel Aurora, which has been here forever, and it's right on the sea. And then you look up, and there's these mountains behind you. It's a very unique kind of a thing. In fact, Irene, coming here today, I was saying to my husband, I just feel this sense of peace and joy to come to this area. It's so wonderful. So where is the winery visit, in the hills or?
Yes, the winery is in the hills, and it takes around 20 minutes to go there, to drive to the winery. We can do tastings in Sperlonga, by the way, or at the winery. So